Hi, I'm Dan Barker, and welcome to Freethought Matters. I'm co-president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which produces this weekly public affairs show. Today, we have a musical treat. Our guest is the well-known indie folk singer and atheist, Shelley Segal.
The Freedom from Religion Foundation, which produces Freethought Matters, is the nation's largest association of free thinkers. That's atheists, agnostics, and other non-believers. We invite you to join us in our vital work to keep our secular government free from religious influence. Become a member at FFRF.org or ask for a complimentary copy of our newspaper, Freethought Today. Freedom depends on freethinkers. Watch prior episodes of Freethought Matters on FFRF's YouTube channel.
Whoever said atheists don't have any songs? Our guest today uses music to create the world she wants to see. After releasing a CD called The Atheist Album, Shelley Segal was dubbed the pin-up girl for the international atheist movement. We've known Shelley Segal for, more than a decade now, I think? Mm-hmm. And we've run into her at conferences around the world. I even got to play at the CD release of The Atheist Album in her hometown of Melbourne, Australia. Her newest EP is called Holy, and we'll be talking with her about more of her music and playing some of her songs on today's show. Shelley flew to our headquarters, FFRF's headquarters here in Madison, Wisconsin, to entertain at our annual winter solstice party in December. So Shelley, thank you for taking out time, carving out time from your very busy international schedule to be with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. It's always a pleasure to get to play with you, Dan.
Yeah, you and I got to do some songs together, and maybe we'll hear some of that in a moment. But you've been pretty well known for your song Saved and your song Eve, which we played on our radio show a number of times. And Eve is a very personal song to you. Can you explain what Eve is about before we hear it?
Sure. So I was brought up in a Jewish family, in a Jewish community, and it was a really big part of my life. And I attended an Orthodox synagogue with my family, even though we were not an Orthodox level of observance. We attended the Orthodox synagogue, and at the synagogue, they have gender segregation. So the women will sit upstairs, separate from the men who sit downstairs. And if you can't make it upstairs for any reason, you can sit up the back, but you sit behind a curtain called a mechitza, which means like a separation.
It sounds very biblical, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The women are separated in the...
Yeah, I used to argue with my brother about it. He would say, oh, it's just symbolic. I said, but it's also a literal curtain that I'm stuck behind. Also, as women, we weren't allowed to participate in leading the service. That's just for the men.
Could you sing?
We could sing together, but a woman's voice is not allowed to be heard unaccompanied.
Why is that?
So, apparently it's too arousing, which is true. I went to a Jewish school as well, and a Jewish day school, and there was a prayer that we used to say every morning. I started saying this at about 10 years old, where we would have a call and response between the boys and the girls, and the boys would say in Hebrew, "Dear God, thank you for not making me a woman." And Shelo asani isha. And then we would answer back, "Dear God, thank you for making me what I am." And so, I got some very clear messages from my tradition about what it means to be a woman in Judaism. And a lot of women in my community explain this away to say, oh, it's not that we're less, it's just that we're different. But different is still defined, and I refuse to be defined by my gender. And so this song I wrote, Eve, it talks about the way that the Abrahamic faiths and their liturgies define women. The Bible tells me I was made for and from man, and I must do for him everything that I can. I must surrender to his will. I must submit. I can't make the household decisions, 'cause I am unfit. It tells me my place with everlasting grace. The Bible tells me I must be silent. You can't hear my voice. My role has been divinely defined, and I have no other choice. I may not be a teacher of man. I must cover up my shame. These are the laws of the one who in vain I cannot name. He tells me my place with everlasting grace. And my punishment for wanting to learn is a painful birth from which I may not return.
And that is Shelley Segal performing the song Eve. Wow, what a message there. It tells me my place with everlasting grace. So how do you feel receiving that everlasting grace from a God?
I feel blessed. No, it's nice. It's nice to be able to be so sarcastic in song.
Well, if you have a voice, you should use it, I think, and you do. So you came out of a believing Jewish Orthodox culture. And then you did some music, and then you produced that Atheist album, which I think got a lot of coverage in Australia at the time.
Yes.
But how did you go from being a believer to an atheist, and how did your family respond to this Jewish child of theirs becoming an outspoken, internationally known atheist?
Right. And I say, like, we were probably only moderately observant at home, but it was just a big part of my family's life. You know, it's cultural, it's community. Everything is about the tradition and the community, if not so much, the laws exactly. But so it was very hard for them to understand, and I think they felt at the time that it was a rejection of everything that they had taught me, that everything that they felt was important. And it was probably one of the most difficult times, in my family's life. We're very close.
And you still are very
close.
We're
still very close, yeah. Actually, my father has a Jewish wedding band where he plays traditional klezmer music, traditional Jewish folk music, and I've been performing with him since I was 11 years old. That's actually how I learned to sing, in a Jewish wedding band. And playing at bar mitzvahs and functions, community functions and weddings, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was very hard, but I think I started questioning things in biology class. I took biology class because I love animals, I just wanted to learn about dolphins. But I ended up learning about evolution, and it just, it was almost felt like a spiritual experience to learn, oh wow, because I love the natural world. I love animals. And the idea that I was connected to everything in the world, to every other life form on
Remember
Earth.
when you took us to see the baby penguins?
Yes, we went to
What is that place south of Melbourne?
Phillip Island.
Phillip Island.
Yeah, we went to Phillip Island to see the penguins. Exactly, to like look at these amazing little fairy penguins, right? They called them, and to know that, you know, we have a common ancestor. It was so amazing because I think previously I'd felt very separate from the world. You know, we're kind of given this narrative of you were in the garden and God created you from the dust, you know, and it's kind of like you're separate.
And we take dominion over the animals and all that.
You feel separate from it. So to feel so connected in that way was amazing. But it was the first kind of belief that had challenged the way I saw the world. And so that was, you know, kind of the start of chipping away at those beliefs.
Now you're this happy, outspoken atheist. And you performed a song for us at this gathering, and you introduced it by some preacher was coming to you.
Yes, yes, I was told very kindly and very politely by a preacher in the street that I was going to burn in hell forever, and I was, you know, kind of frustrated that someone would come in my life and tell me, into my space and my world, and tell me such awful, awful things and just put that on me. And so I felt like I wanted to just, you know, push back and say, I won't be told how to live my life. And I went home and I was playing the guitar and I wrote this song and it called Saved. And it was the first time I'd written about my beliefs, about how I was feeling at this time where I was going through this really significant life change. And I think as songwriters, you know, you write about what's going on in your life, about love and family and life. And this was the first time I had really written about my beliefs. And there was, you know, it felt so amazing to put it out in song. And I thought, I want to keep doing this because, you know, I don't know, it was almost 20 years ago now that I started going through that transition, but it was all I could think about. It was all the conversations I was having. It was such an intense time. And so it was so amazing to have that musical outlet to talk about what I was going through.
That song became pretty popular, didn't it? It was like one of your hits.
Yeah, that was my hit single, you know. Wow. That became the theme song for the Atheist Experience, which was really cool because I used to watch that.
Well, why don't we listen to the song as you performed it here in our building here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Say that I need to be saved. Say with me, the devil's got his way. I want to know how when you are praying, when you are doomsdaying, how you think you know that someone is listening to what you are saying. And so you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral core derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder when we'll be rid of your lies. You say I need to hear the truth, a sales pitch of eternal life and eternal youth. All these blessings you are bestowing upon the one you say is all-knowing. Well, are they really deserved if he is sending me where you say I am going? And so you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral core derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder when we'll be rid of your lies. So you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral code derives.
Well, Shelley, that was really good. You're always very good when you're before a live audience like that, but what a powerful, powerful song. So you're having some drama in your life right now. You're from Australia.
Yes.
But you now live in Los Angeles, and you want to become an American citizen?
Yes, I
After everything that's happened in this country?
I know, I I actually moved here permanently on a visa in 2016, just before the election then, and we were
like a work visa, or?
Yeah, I was on a work visa, and I was very shocked that Trump won. I think we didn't see it coming. I came in September, just before the election.
You have a studio now that you own and a production company. What happens if you have to leave?
No, it will be terrible. I think I'm confident, that I'll be able to stay on my green card at least, even if I'm not able to get citizenship next year. But I've been here a long time now, and I'm definitely very invested in.
It's called True Music?
True Music is my publishing company, and then I have a studio and production house called Secret Sauce with my best friend Prince Chappelle.
Secret Source or Sauce?
Oh no, that's my accent.
Your accent.
Secret Sauce.
Sauce. Yeah, Secret Sauce. So in addition to all of that, when you were here in Madison for one of our conventions a few years ago, you and I went into the studio, and we just, Audio for the Arts here in Madison, Wisconsin, with no plan, no arrangements, no openings, no endings, and we just started jamming, right? And we produced that album.
Made a live album, yeah.
And so, and you, like me, you love all the standards and a lot of the great music of history, the great American songbook.
Right.
Well, let's listen to one of the songs that you and I did at this event back in December.
If I never had a cent, I would be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid this rover cross over. If I never had a cent, I would be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
We'll be right back with more Shelley Segal.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist.
When I first recorded that commercial back in 2014, being openly atheist in America was still fairly uncommon. Today, the fastest growing religious group in the country is the non-religious, especially among the young. That progress is heartening, but the religious pushback is fierce and the forces of Christian nationalism are well organized. Our progress won't continue unless we work together so that reason and our secular constitution will prevail. That's why I'm asking you to join the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and agnostics working to keep state and church separate, just like our founders intended. Please join the Freedom from Religion Foundation today. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
And welcome back to Freethought Matters. And I'm continuing my conversation with the well-known singer-songwriter, originally from Down Under, or if you flip the maps, up over, I suppose, Shelley Segal, famous for her Atheist album and many other albums. She has a recording studio, and you also are teaching like songwriting. You have classes for.
Yeah, so I love songwriting so much, and as I'm sure you know, music is such a powerful outlet, and it's been such a gift in my life. But I think if everybody had the capacity to express themselves through songs, I think life would be a lot easier and the world would be a better place.
Yeah. And
so, I think where people are kind of told that music and songwriting it's something more inaccessible to them, it's something that you can't just do unless you know how to do it. And I really want to dispel that, and I want to make songwriting really accessible to people. So I started doing this program a couple of years ago, and this year I started doing it every week, where every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific time.
On the Lord's Day?
On the Lord's Day, on the very day of the Lord, I go, well, for us it's the Sabbath, it's the Saturday, so I made sure to keep it after Shabbat. But no, so every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on YouTube, and I've been building a bit of a community there, and we take 90 minutes, it's the cap, and we write a song, a brand new song every single week.
Just about anything that comes up?
About whatever anyone's going through. I say, okay, guys, let me know, like, what's happening in your life. Tell me what's going on, or something you want to sing about or express, and to kind of find a theme that resonates with a few different people in the group, and then off we go.
And you just do it all yourself,
all live.
Organically.
Yeah, all live, and just to show people that process and what it's like and how easy it is. And I make sure to take what everyone is saying, and I turn it into the lyric in the moment, just to really, pull the curtain back.
Can't you just push the AI button and say, write me a song about this? Well,
you can now. So the computer knows how to do it, but I want to show people how to do it. And I want to show people that it's really easy, and that, like, there's no right or wrong answers. And it's just great to have a space like that that's just creating for creation's sake. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. Because if there was a formula for writing a hit song, everybody would use that formula, and every song would be a hit song. But of course, you can't predict what's going to be a hit, can you?
You can't predict, but there are patterns, and there are people who analyze the songs that do make it, and you can try to incorporate some of those techniques. But I think the real thing that makes a hit song is money. I have artists say, "Oh, I want a hit song." I said, "Well, you're going up against these big labels who have so much money behind the marketing of each song, and even not all of those will become big hits." So I think it's a combination of the song and also the machine, the marketing machine behind it. But that's why I love having this space where it's like we don't need to think about making a hit. We just are thinking about, let's make a song for creation's sake, and just for the sake of expressing how we're feeling and what we're going through.
Yeah, that's how I feel with writing. I don't think about, I'm going to make money write a song. I want this song to express something real and sincere. Some believers claim that without Jesus or without God, you don't have any basis for aesthetics or true emotion or true value or true art, that we non-believers are just sort of flat, desperate people. What do you say to that?
Well, I think we're a good answer. You and I are a good answer to that accusation. And that's why I called my album an atheist album, was because, there is that association of atheists with being cold and disconnected, and I wanted to dispel that. I wanted to take something, heartfelt and loving and engaged and passionate, like music and my songs, and associate that with atheism. And I think we do that. I think we're an answer to that. People think that creative process is also something spiritual or something magical, rather than something just very kind of mechanical and functional. And so it's fun to kind of dispel that as well. You see it happening in real time. There is a process there, and everyone's is different, but it's not, it can feel magical, but it is just a a kind of
Well, Richard
mechanical
Rodgers
process.
said that, the famous composer. Somebody asked him, where does inspiration come from? And he says, I don't use that word. It's hard work. It's craft. It's writing for the moment. And speaking of songwriters, a lot of people don't realize how many of the beloved songs in history and classical music were written by people who were non-believers. Cole Porter, for example, and Richard Rodgers and Jerome Kern and Irving Berlin. But Yip Harburg,
Yeah.
everybody loves the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You know, I had Christian friends who just loved Somewhere Over the Rainbow, like it feels spiritual almost. But Yip didn't believe in God, and Yip was a very happy, agnostic, secular humanist who was like very irreverent.
Yeah.
And speaking of Yip Harburg, you and I performed a song at this event that incorporated, he didn't just write songs, he wrote these light verse. You know, he wrote some of these, I think his funniest one was called Lead Kindly Light, where he said, where Bishop Patrick crossed the street, an X now marks the spot. The light of God was with him, but the traffic light was not. So during our performance in December, we set some of that, I set some of that to music, and you and I sang the song, which we call Somewhere Over the Paper Moon. And you had to learn it like in 3 minutes.
It was a lot of fun.
So as we go out of our show today, let's listen to the lyrics of Yip Harburg as we sing Somewhere Over the Paper Moon. And thank you for watching Freethought Matters, because free thought matters. We've only rehearsed this once. Do you think we can pull it off?
I think we could do it. Maybe the light of God is with us.
Somewhere over the paper moon there sails a lyrical ship, made of irreverent memories of a songwriter known as Yip. This one's called Lead Kindly Light.
Where Bishop Patrick crossed the street, an X now marks the spot. The light of God was with him,
But the traffic light was not. This one is called A Nose is a Nose.
Mother, mother, tell me, mother, tell me, please, did God who made the flowers and trees also provide the allergies?
Federal Reserve. In 1929, when the banks went bust,
In 29, when the banks went bust, our coins still read, in God we trust.